Here's Brody Brazil.
So here we are with some instant reaction to the official word that the Cleveland Guardians have brought on Stephen Vogt to be their 45th manager in franchise history. And you know that expression, couldn't be happier for someone or something? That gets tossed around a lot by so many people. And I'm pretty sure they understand what they're saying when they're saying it, but it is literally the definition of how I'm exactly feeling for this guy right now. Getting to know him and follow him and cover him for so many years with the A's and other teams, including the Giants, and then watching him in 2022 finish his career in Oakland, that final hit, that final at-bat was a homer that'll live on for so many years. But you could understand that during his playing days as a leader, as a catcher, as a clubhouse guy, that this could be a reality someday. It was his desire and was stated so on multiple occasions. In fact, here on this YouTube channel, we talked about his future as a potential big league manager. But now that it's here, and today it begins in Cleveland, and he's got a good team to take over in a division where maybe they can get into the playoffs sooner than later. But it's going to take a while to sink in. This is so cool. And also for Stephen Vogt, the opportunity, I think, in Cleveland, like I said before, that's a division where most teams didn't even have a 500 record this season. And the Guardians did make a push towards the end, just couldn't narrow the gap, couldn't get in. But to think that Stephen Vogt is taking over for Terry Francona, one of the ultimate players managers, not player manager, but players manager. He's obviously a future Hall of Famer. You get what many think is somebody who could follow in those exact same footsteps. Somebody who's just 2 years removed from playing big league baseball. Now he is here in 2023, entering 2024. It'll be his debut season as Cleveland's manager. And look, I don't know if everything's going to go perfect, and I hate to even change the mood and the upbeat nature of what I'm saying here for just a second, but I do want to point this out. Like, Stephen Vogt is no doubt new at this, and there will be some learning curve, I'm sure, for him the first time he walks into his own manager's office. Like that's going to be something different for Voter. But here's what I know about him. He's adaptable. He's friendly. He wins people over. He gets along with people. He understands the game, and he's drawn respect from so many. He's been an all-star. He's been DFA'd. He's kind of been cast away, and he's also been brought on during some of the most important times, clutch at-bats in the playoffs. He's literally been there, done that for almost everything. Oh, how did I forget? Was with Atlanta when they won the World Series. Now, wasn't on the roster, part of that team during the postseason, but again, Stephen Vogt, part of that group in pushing things together when Atlanta won it all, and he got a ring from it. So yeah, maybe I'm rethinking this. Maybe he has done it all. Just so happy for him personally. A guy that's from California, his family from Visalia, got to play for both the A's and Giants. I mean, that is such a rarity that somebody from this region gets the chance to be on both sides of the Bay. Was loved here equally during his time in San Francisco, and especially all the extra years in Oakland. But you could see this as a long time coming. And all the great managers that he played for over the years, including, and most prominently, Bob Melvin. And it's crazy. Bob Melvin just got a new job with the Giants, and here's Stephen Vogt, who we knew was in the mix for Cleveland. That's another thing I probably should have said at the beginning of this video. You know, the candidates to take over the Cleveland job, and there were multiple names thrown out there in the interview process. Like for Bob Melvin, it was, all of one day? They did the interview, then they hired him the next day, they announced it. For Stephen Vogt, there was a bit of competition and consideration in this process, it seems. And the fact that Cleveland looked at him and said, how many days have you managed before? None? That's fine. You're great. We understand your track record, your resume, and all the great things that people have probably been saying about Stephen Vogt. Now, I should also sidestep here for a second because Mark Kotsay with the Oakland A's, who obviously was around during Voter's final year, Mark Kotsay also never had a day of managing under his belt before he took over the Oakland A's starting in 2022. And that's a totally different situation. the team and the tools he was handed, like, there's no question that that was going to be an uphill battle. But I've seen Mark Kotsay already take the reins and have the quick understanding of something he's always wanted to do, manage a big league team, and that focus, drive, and determination that made him a great player and teammate, that's made Mark Kotsay, in my opinion, a pretty darn good manager, all things considered, already in Oakland. And I guess that's the point to translate here to Stephen Vogt, is that you could tell he was made for this. He's cut out for this. But it's all the things that made him a good player that are definitely going to make him a good manager. And no doubt, I'll circle back. There will be that learning curve, that whole putting on the manager's jersey, which is, just a little bit different from playing, right? But knowing that he's the guy, I'm sure that might take a set amount of days or weeks or whatever to get fully accustomed to and to understand the role. But in terms of what he's taking over, the potential of it, who he's always been, and this chance, it's kind of crazy to see something coming for so many years. I mean, Bob Melvin called this out, I want to say in 2016, 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. Yeah, Stephen Vogt will probably be a manager of a big league club someday. And I remember talking to Voter at the end of his final year in Oakland. What are you going to do next year? You have the opportunity to just hang low for a year, retire, be with the family. He got such a cool opportunity in Seattle to be part of their coaching staff. His family was based in the Northwest, in Washington, so he was only a short drive away. He could be home on so many extra nights. So the Mariners gig was such a perfect fit for him, and the opportunity to gain some coaching experience, to just see that side of it. And how many guys literally are a big league coach for 1 year and then get brought on to a pretty legendary franchise, one that knows what they're doing with a manager, and he gets this crack to be Cleveland's manager. So I wish Voter the very best. You obviously know that. I guess I have my new team in the AL Central, but I do think Stephen Vogt's going to have a lot of great things in his future, and I think it's going to be a long future. If you look at what Terry Francona did, and for multiple teams, but how long he lasts in jobs, I think you're going to have the exact same thing with Stephen Vogt. So thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate this. Thumbs up since you made it here to the very end, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.